How meaningful is this title defense against Sergio Martinez?
I think this is the biggest fight of Kelly's career. I think he beat Paul Williams, and Paul Williams, as we were talking, act like he was a champion there for a while, and he's not. I mean, the way he was demanding things to fight Kelly, and then he went in there and fought Sergio, and I thought he got beat. So as far as Williams goes, I think his stocks went way down. Sergio Martinez, very dangerous fighter. Like I said, I think it's not a crossroads for Kelly's career, but I think it's probably the most important fight of his career.
Get a good close-up of that face. Light out of my face. Thanks.
What are your thoughts on that? Him taking care of his mandatories and getting it done, holding his titles, and now he gets his chance to fight the big name?
Yeah, I mean, we've done like every other champion has done. Unfortunately, we took some ridicule for it. If you look over Bernard Hopkins' resume, I bet out of his 20 title defenses, you can find 5 named fighters, 6 maybe tops. We fought the number 1 contender twice. We had to do it, and then we got a bye on one of the things, and it kind of gave us a break fight. But we were willing to fight Paul Williams. We had the staph infection. I wasn't going to go let him fight a guy like Paul Williams when he wasn't 110%. So I thought he did what he had to do with the guys they put in front of us. Rubio and Espino and Lockett. He went in there and he blasted them out, and that's what you do to guys like that. And I thought he took care of business very well with them. Probably this sparring camp, though, we've probably had 2 of the best sparring partners that would simulate and work as hard as they did for getting us ready for a fight ever. I've been with Kelly 10 years now as a pro, and we've had numerous sparring partners in, and I think we hit the nail right on the head with these 2. And I couldn't ask for anything better with the guys, and I think that was probably the best part of our training camp was the guys that we brought in. We still do the same other things. The Dunners, all the crazy stuff that he does. But going back to the sparring partners, we've always struggled to get something in here that we really need, or somebody's always running from the kid. They won't stand there and fight with him. Let me tell you something. We brought 2 guys in here this time that does exactly what Martinez is going to do. They get in Kelly's ass. They don't back away from him, and they come in there and they gave it. Like I said, that was the biggest change in training camp, was having probably 2 of the best sparring partners we've had in 10 years.
How do you think it's going to play out against Martinez?
Probably just like it has been in sparring. The first 3, 4, 5 rounds is going to be tough until we figure this guy out. You know what I mean? And that's why we got 2 great sparring partners, and then we bring them in for 4 or 5 rounds apiece, and they do their thing, and they get out, and then the next guy we got to deal with him again. So it's a matter of, I think, once Kelly figures out Martinez, and he's not real hard to figure out. Like I said, the 2 guys we brought in are faster than him, slicker than him, throw way more punches than him. I mean, Sergio averages like 40-some punches a round. So that's not going to be a work rate that we have to work hard to keep up with. That's for sure. But I think the first 3, 4 rounds are going to be tough going. But I think once we catch up with him and once he gets hit with that power, and I think everything's going to change. And everybody's got a plan when they get into the ring. But then once you get hit by Kelly, a lot of things go out the window.
So you have a prediction?
Oh, we're going to knock him out. I think later in the fight, I think the longer, the only chance I think this guy has is if he would catch Kelly early and catch us cold and stop us. I think the longer the fight goes, just the worse it's going to be for him. I think if this kid gets in the 7th and 8th round, he's just going to be looking for a place to go because it's going to get brutal for him.
Now, you've been a trainer now for God knows how many years, and the middleweight title is a historic title. I mean, what does that mean to you to have worked with a guy from 9 years old till now he has this historic title?
Well, first of all, the middleweight title, when I grew up, I loved Carlos Monzon. I used to watch a lot of the middleweight fights, and Saturday afternoons I used to put a lot of them on. And then when I fought in the gloves, I fought at middleweight. It's just I always thought that was the marquee division besides the heavyweight division. It's great, and there's not many trainers out there that have taken a kid from 9 years old to the middleweight championship of the world. I don't know if there's any of them out there. I'd love to be in Freddie Roach's position and have all them guys handed to me. You know, same as Buddy McGirt and guys like that. I mean, it's like Christmas for them every other month. You know, but it's more gratifying for me with a guy like Kelly Pavlik that I know I had something to do with. You know, I mean, he's a very talented kid and he can knock you dead with one shot. But I mean, I've been with this kid since he's 9 years old and nobody's taught him anything in his ring except for myself. So when he accomplished that middleweight title, I mean, that was real special to me because I wasn't handed a gifted fighter. I wasn't handed a guy that was already a world champ and then got him another belt. You know, I was there for the very first one, and we were there from the beginning.
There are 2 other middleweight belts out there. What are your thoughts on those belts, and why are they different than Kelly's?
Well, I mean, you got Felix Sturm, and he won't fight nobody. I mean, he hasn't fought nobody. He won't come to the States and fight any of the named fighters. I mean, he wouldn't even fight a guy like a Zertucci. He wouldn't fight a guy like a Miranda. You know, he fights nobody. So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he's not even worth holding the title belt. And as far as Sylvester, he don't go 3 rounds with Kelly Pavlik. I mean, I seen him fight Billy Loew. It'd be ridiculous. I mean, you know what I mean? If Billy could punch a little bit, Billy's the new IBF middleweight champ of the world. But he just can't punch, and that was the difference in that fight. So, I mean, the other 2 belts out there, they'd be nice to have, but if there's a risk or a chance of us going over there or doing something stupid just to get those 2 meaningless belts, it wouldn't even be worth it. There's a whole lot more bigger fights and better fights at different avenues we could take besides chasing them guys.
Mm-hmm. How about the guys that you beat and then they later lose? People act as if that matters.
How it goes the night you fought them, where they were at when you fought them, what you did to them, and how you beat them. You know, Jermaine Taylor got off the canvas and probably one of the most exciting middleweight fights ever. You know, it's going to go down in history, and that was a great, great middleweight fight. The return fight, you know, when we fought him in a rematch, you know, we switched gears in the middle of the fight. We beat him at his own game, boxing him. You know, and then we came on strong the last 2 rounds and beat him there again. You know, we did what we had to do, and we beat a great champion. Like you said, that took 4 belts off of Bernard Hopkins.
You get the belt. The condition of those fighters now, the state of mind they're in, the physical condition they're in, they're losing. Kelly Pavlik has done that. You know, is there any other fighter has done?
No. I don't think there's anybody out there that has done to fighters what Kelly has done to them.
Elaborate just a few seconds on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, start at the beginning. You know, look at Zertucci. It's never been the same since. Look at Miranda. You know, once we knocked Miranda out, you know, before we knocked him out, he had a hell of a fight with Abraham. Once we knocked him out, he went back over and he was nothing. You know, he got knocked out twice after we knocked him out. Jermaine Taylor's never been the same since we beat him. You know, we knocked him out, and then he started to get knocked out. He was never knocked out, but he was never even down before until Kelly took care of him. Gary Lockett, you know, #1 contender. You know, look at Bronco McCart. You know, he's come back with a few small wins recently, but he's never been knocked down. He's never been beat like that. You know, so I mean, you know, there's guys out there that he just flat out ruined their career. Zuniga. Zuniga's never been the same since then. You know, and that was a war. That was when he won the NABF title. So I mean, if you go back and look at Kelly's resume and see where these guys are at now, like a who's who of where they're at now, most of them are done or they're used as opponents now. And I think that's a large contributor to Kelly beating them the way he did.
Now, your sights are set on Martinez. That's all you're thinking about. But, you know, as a trainer, I don't mind asking you this question. Who do you think are potential big names out there that could beat one of your fights down? Who are the big names in the middle?
You know what? The marquee names could also come up to us. And, you know, I wanted to make that point. You know, everybody always, when Kelly will let him go up and fight Chad Dawson, that's super light heavyweight. Let him go fight this guy at super middleweight. I mean, we've been asked to go to heavyweight. Why don't they say for once, why don't you let Margarito come up from 54 to go up to 60? I would love, you know, they were talking, Aaron was talking about putting Kelly with a Hispanic guy down in Dallas Stadium. Margarito, I go, why couldn't you get a better fit than that?
Especially with the hometown fans, but they talk about the broad support you get from folks.
Oh, it was, I'll tell you what, we went to Texas Stadium. I mean, Kelly was like a rock star down there. You know what I mean? I mean, everywhere he went, I mean, he was, you know, if there was 50,000 people in the stands, 30,000 of them tried to get to Kelly. You know, and with Kelly's popularity, mine grown. You know, I mean, everywhere I go, and even in Texas, you know, a lot of people, hey, there he is. You know, and you know, you still don't. I don't get used to that. You know, but you know, Kelly's such a star out there. He's, you know, he plays it really good. And, but the popularity of Kelly worldwide now, and you know, we took a hit in 209, but I think one big win over Sergio Martinez, and it's right back to the top again.